Mindenkinek közvetítésünket megkezdjük. Szolidan, egyszerűen, szépen és a kantényra kattintva. Mint látható, a Dungeon Siege harmadik részével játszunk, melyet már nem ugyanaz a fejlesztő csapat fejlesztett, mint régen. Mint az elsőt, vagy a második. És ez mennyire látszik meg rajta? Nem tudom. Utána olvasva úgy tűnik, mint hogyha igen. Gyakorlatilag én annyira azért nem érzem azt a mély sztori történetet benne. Persze, túlmutat az egész, az egyszerű parasztból lettem hős formulát. Ott az első rész volt például. Ennek ellenére a sablonosság ugyanúgy megvan a játékban. Eredetiség erősen ezt a pizzót pedig hátul lesössz. Éppen jövő. És így szépen ezt a csatát is megnyertük. No, megyünk fölfelé a másik kijárathoz, mert ugye, ha emlékeztek, az úgy volt, hogy nekünk dolgunk van arra felé. Ezt a kijárattal már lezártuk az ellenségtől, így az többé nem fenyeget abból az irányból. És most megyünk a másik kijárathoz. Itt a bányában, megmentve a királynőt és a ráleselkedő veszélyet, és úgy beszélünk mi is, mint a játékban, unalmasan. Na lássuk, mi van itt, aminek nem kéne lenni, vagy kéne lenni. Nagy tolatunk az túloldalra. Arra tovább. Arra tovább. Azt már kifosztottuk. Na, szóval menjünk. Újabb pályát, újabb járat. És hogy ne kezdjen túl messziről kezdünk, ha véletlenül beütnek egy mentés. Na, a nyugati. Hátrább jövünk, és akkor onnan valaki ilyen öldösi. Irányba állunk. aki egyébként sakál. De ezt mindig elmondjuk. Csak ha valaki elfelejtette volna, persze csak azért. Szempontjából érdekes lehet.
Those men are trapped on the other side. Hurry! Let's move these platforms to make a path.
De hogy erre így gyorsabban odaérünk. Jó. Elviszik benne. Azért kincset keresni ráérünk mindig. Az igazság, hogy az ember nem rohan, mert úgy is tudja, hogy oda fog érni, hiszen a script majd csak akkor indul be. Hoppá. Ez jól bírja. De nem az én lövéség. Ajaj, ide jöttök. Oké. Opa! Csak körbe. Úgyis akkor itt lesz. Hogy oda most úgy nem tudunk lemenni. Elnézzünk erre, hát ha erre lesz még valami, ami... Amit be lehet nyomni, igen. És ez folyik az utolsó platform. Már nem lehet oda beengedni. Át tudunk menni. The platforms are in place. Move! És visszamegyünk most. Rengeteg ládikát láttuk, úgyhogy ezeket szépen kinyitogatjuk. Jó, felvettük azt a tatyót is. Kell majd a végéhez. Oké, ezek kimenekítve, úgyhogy marad a másik alküldetés, arra is összpontosítsunk. Főküldetés mellett. És akkor marad a járatnak ez a része, de erre még nem ért.
Are the other tunnels breached as well?
Oj, de úgy lépünk. Katonák meg hardrakra, nem baj. Jó lesz ez. És közelebb. Azért vannak végül is. Óvják és védjék, akik fogadtak. Hűséget neki nem ér. Na, még egy zsák hiányzik. Ja, hogy nyugiba erre érkeztünk. Hamarosan mesteri szintűek vagyunk abból. Itt nem nyitottuk. Valószínűleg meg ezt. És innentől kezdve minden elérhető. Sokálunk, az ki van maxolva. Na várj, aha, az osztop is. Hát figyelj, akkor azt az aurát, azt adjuk már a helyére, azt jó van. Hoppá, megnyitok az ujja. Na jó van. Na és akkor nálam meg ez hiányzik, ugye? Dim. Akkor viszont behúzom, mint utolsó. És akkor kinyitotta. Fókuszra generáció. Figyelj, fejezzük ezt be, aztán majd meglátjuk a többit. Hoppá. Ide értetek volna, már végetek is lett. Na milyen jó, hogy átjött. Egy kis lót.
Hold the line. The Azanites will never reach the court.
This cavern. It's like the inside of one of those hollow stones with all the crystals inside.
Közepére kell állnom, hogy hajlandó legyen megmozdulni. A szélére nem indult el. Nincs, aki használja őket. Vissza, út van, mert még azokat begyűjtjük. Azok kellenek nekünk. Le akarok szállni, átugrom. Na. Egy darab még hiányzik. Hát akkor haladunk el tovább. Rég mentettünk, úgyhogy biztos, hogy jött az.
One more down.
Platformon ragadt szegény kutya, aztán onnan nem jött le.
Be on guard.
Gyere ide! Gyere ide!
Back into the fray.
I am in your debt.
városokban. Ezzel kéne annélkül is, hogy felébreszteném a havert. A BM nem jutott eddig eszembe. Nem a tűzoszlop. Azt is kellene. Na gyere. Mivel jobb így?
Getting in again. Not that way.
Oké. Menjünk vissza. Királylányzunk.
Those guns are sightless. If we stand still, we're dead.
No. Van-e valami táposabb valami, amit szedtünk össze? Hát lehet, hogy nem ártott. Na de előbb körbenézzük, maradt-e itt még valaki, aki úgy dönt, hogy jó lesz annak, hogy legyakjuk a fejét. Van itt már mindenből. Drágább, azaz jobb. Részszabály ez ezekben, ha egyébként. Még nem találtam olyat, ahol ez nem vált volna be. Akkor indulás vissza a királynél, az egy meccsködös, berobbantottuk a kaput. Kérdezem, ahol ők beözöllöttek, és idefele kinyírtak neki. Akkor hogy kerültek? Jó, ilyen akkor értem, ha nem rakják ide, akkor unalmas a játék. Pillanatban az úton visszamenni, úgyhogy nincsen hol. Nem már mikor erdőben voltunk vagy egyéb, akkor még megmagyarázható ugye a fák között. Így viszont zárt. Pályátok vannak. Na mindegy. Mindent megmagyarázni. Az is jó ment, de egyébként messzében feltölt.
You hear that? Sound like a drill. 3 guesses who's behind it.
Ugye nem hagytunk hát rá semmilyen. Van semmit. Még jó lesz. Meg a mögöttessel útért azért. Mi másért? Mindjárt gyorsan végigpörgetjük. Oké. Az asztalhoz. És ez a sok felesleges valamit, ott szabaduljunk meg. Ízzünk, mint a tenger! Körülbelül, hogy itt vagyunk.
I hear the tunnels have yet to be fully sealed. I hope my requests haven't distracted you too much from the task at hand. The Pay Knight. You have it. Wonderful. You have ensured the future of geomancy. And perhaps the royal line as well. Please, take these items. They're prized possessions from the royal armory. A fair reward for your contributions.
I'm told that the tunnels are sealed and Jane's forces are repulsed. That was fine work. Now she's trying to drill her way inside at the base of the deep well. You heard the noise in the tunnels, no doubt?
Elfúroljuk van.
What kind of drill are we talking about?
Goblin technology. Easy enough to procure if you have contacts in Stonebridge, and everyone does. We acquire our cannons the same way.
Phineas and I have prepared a trap for Jane. It will require all our remaining stores of black powder.
We'll need to shut down the stone stream, allow the combustible vapors to accumulate at the bottom of the well.
The stone stream? You mean the floating rocks in the middle of the deep well?
Not just the rocks, but yes, that's the most visible part. The stone stream is a system. It extends to every part of Glitterdelf. Think of the mines as a vast living creature, which they are in a sense. The stone stream is like a massive set of lungs, drawing clean air from outside and flushing out the explosive vapors in the mine.
Such a massive system, and it only controls the flow of air?
No, it's also like a heart, pumping clean water through the tunnels for drinking and getting rid of waste. It heats and cools the water too, which has the function of regulating temperature in different parts of the mine. Rather like sweat. I suppose there's no perfect metaphor. I'll have to work on that.
And this whole system was built using magic?
Ingenious, weren't they? The dwarves, I mean. They're the ones who created the stone stream. And now they're gone. No way to learn how the dwarves built all this except to puzzle it out myself.
Another casualty of the war. They died to protect my father. And me.
You're saying that the mines are full of explosive gas?
Some parts of the mines, yes. It's especially bad in the deep well, with gases rising from somewhere below. You'll see giant fans all over the mines. They're part of the stone stream, circulating the air so that the vapors don't grow too thick.
And what if the vapors grow too thick? Has that ever happened?
In the early days of the mine, mostly. Only takes one spark to set them off. The Great Blast of 943. That was 350 years ago, but you still hear stories. Half the mines collapsed. Bad business.
So if the vapors collect at the bottom of the deep well, we can set off an explosion.
And consume Jane's army and fire. If any survive, they'll surely be crushed by falling rock, and that tunnel will be buried as well. I've taken some of the cannons that you saved from the swamp and set them at the bottom of the well. If Jane's forces break through the tunnel too soon, they'll provide a tactical advantage.
What do you think of our plan? Lord Devonsey is sure it will work, but I should like to hear the Legion's opinion too.
This is our
No,
best chance to
okay.
inflict terrible losses on Jane, and still keep most of your people alive.
Most of Jane's soldiers are deluded and young. What a horrible way to die. For men and women who are little older than me. I'm sorry. You must think me silly and soft. If you and Lord Devonsey are agreed, then I shall trust your judgment.
Phineas will climb to the top of the well and shut off the stone stream. Will you go with him and keep him safe?
Are you worried about the creatures in the mines? Or something more?
The dwarves had good reason to guard the stone stream, especially the main hub, the source of power for the whole system. I've never gotten close to the hub, only studied it from afar. But I'm sure it's protected, and I'm not much of a soldier. I suppose I made that clear enough in the swamp.
So you'll be at the bottom of the well, setting the black powder charges?
Roderick and his men are already at work. They're bringing the last of the charges below.
Phineas will be safe with me, as long as he stays close.
Right. I've got to fetch a few books and scrolls. I'll meet you at the top of the well.
Meglehetősen bonyolult a terv, de hát éppen ezért nekünk való. Más tudná ezt megoldani, hanem mi. Előtte most sokat dumáltunk. Na szóval nézzük. Oké, hogy mindig az előzőt beválasztja, ami nem is itt van. Váltotta be? Nem. Váltson már vissza. Oké. Merre vezet az utó?
For you. Step onto it.
Tovább. About the platform. Ugorjunk rá.
There you are. Let's hurry. I should be able to form a path to the center.
What a magnificent...
Előbb ezt a ládát.
I don't even know what to call it. Device? Apparatus? Floating stone thing?
There it is. I've never been this close. Sad that we must put it to rest. This will take a few moments, and all of my focus. Sentinels! They won't stop until I halt the stone stream. Keep them back!
Those sentinels don't look happy to see us. One more down.
It's like trying to hold back a river. I'm trying.
No way to kill these damn things, and no traps to lure them into.
It's beginning to stop. Just a little while longer.
Assistant devils, aren't they? Now to hold them back.
It's done. I need to rest a while. Go on, quickly. I'll be safe here.
Szóval. Akkor begyűjtenénk az ilyen cuccokat, jó? Meg is jött. Megállítjuk szépen. Majd szépen nem mozognak a cuccok. És levegő, a gáz.
Phineas did it, didn't he? The fans have stopped, which means that the well is going to be a dangerous place very soon. Unfortunately, it won't be soon enough. Jane's army broke through and her men are storming into the bedrock. Lord Devonsey and his soldiers are holding them off. Help them buy us some time to get our explosives ready. Then we'll send those bastards to Azanai.
Osszuk szét a pontokat. Maxon. Nem tudom. Figyelj, nyomhatjuk azt is. Már teljes. Védekezős. Egykezős védekezni. Oké, és akkor most nézzünk neki egy újat. Oké. Így jó lesz. Na, indulás. Tartsuk fel.
The Royalists look like they could use our help. Let's say we charge right in.
Oké. Ezt eddig nem is vettük észre, jól van. Szóval, illetve rágördöltünk még tegnap. Nem tudtuk ugye, hogy ez elég.
Fight for Queen Rosalind!
Nem sokáig írtatok a királynőért való harcot.
I'm glad you're safe. Look, down there. We held the high ground, but they're pushing us back. My soldiers need your help. You can take the floating platform to the bottom. Thanks to you, we still have our cannons from the swamp. We'll use them to cover you until Roderick signals us all to retreat. Do whatever you can to delay Jane's army. We need more time for the vapors to build up at the bottom of the well.
That gas makes a fine stench. It's building up fast.
Hold your peace. My Lady Jane Cassinder calls parley.
Lower your weapons. We've come here to talk. I would know who leads my enemy's army. Tell me, why is your face so like my handmaid's and my own? Why does an Archon stand against her own kind?
You claim to be an Archon too?
My mother was an Archon, yes.
My lady, this woman was one of the Legionnaires in Raven's Rill. My life was spared by her word.
Mercy from the Legion? I find that hard to believe. Unless it was some kind of ploy. Violence has always been the Legion's way. Ever since Hugh Montbaron murdered the old king. Did you plan the same for little Queen Mouse?
What did we do to earn your hate? It couldn't have been the death of some distant king.
Some distant king? Yes. He must seem so to you. The old king. The man your legion sought to murder and displace. He was my father.
And your mother? She was an Archon?
Yes. one of the last of her kind, granted shelter and solace by my father, the king.
If it's true that your mother was an Archon, what brought her to Ebb?
She came to this world with her sisters, seeking the lost gods they once served. She could not have been much different from you, except that she understood who and what she was. And she had her sisters. She was not alone.
If your father was the old king, then you and Roslyn are family.
By blood, Roslyn is my niece. But I will never call her kin. Her family stood by, content to watch, while I destroyed the Legion and avenged our father. Only then did they turn against me. They raised an army to put me in chains. A mistake, they'd tell you. If they were not all dead.
If the royal family turned against you, they must have had good reason.
Azzal nem állítunk semmi.
Good reason. Only if you count jealousy and fear. People had begun to whisper that the king had been my father. They were rumors, nothing more. But they worried the rightful heirs. I had no designs upon the throne. Not then. But neither would I go quietly to the noose. They created the very monster they feared.
Roslyn said nothing of this to me. Does she know that she's your niece?
Perhaps she doesn't know, if her family kept it from her. What better way to let a shameful secret die?
Roslyn had no part in any of this, so why fight her?
Because Roslyn is weak. She could never rebuild this nation alone. She'll be forced to rely upon others, like your Legion. And you will have power over her. But that is what you want, is it not? I have no need to make such bargains. I am strong enough to rebuild my father's kingdom on my own.
Jó,
and
tehát
greater
személyes,
powers, not
rá lehet
of this
húzni mindenféle
world, have shown their favor of me. I will not
Majd
fail.
egy.
We've spoken enough about your father and his kin.
Now you know why I lay claim to this kingdom. I am well within my rights.
What if I take you at your word? Can we negotiate a truce?
What if there is some truth to what she says? Wouldn't hurt to ask Devonsey, if we get out of this alive.
They need not be killed, my lady. We could offer exile, or...
Not to the Legion. No. I have heard the voices of my mother's lost gods. On this day, they will grant me victory over you and the Pretender Queen. This parley is finished. Remain here, and you will be slain. Try to run, and I will hunt you down. We shall not speak again.
Do you hear that noise? Ah, didn't Phineas say something about a war beast?
Hoppá, ezt legyőztük.
The war beast lay dead,
Epikus harc.
its fall testament to the might of the 10th Legion. But it seemed a Pyrrhic victory as the Azunite army pushed into the deep well. Hundreds of soldiers poured from the tunnels, easily outnumbering the Royalist forces. You and your allies fled before them, but this was not the defeat it might have seemed. Without the stone stream to refresh it, the air in the deep well was a seething cauldron of explosive gas, awaiting the merest spark. That spark the Royalists were all too happy to provide. The explosion collapsed the well, entombing the Azunites beneath the mountain, and shattering Jane Cassinder's hopes of destroying the Queen. Would that Cassinder herself had been buried there, along with her men. But such an end was not her fate.
Jane's army is fleeing down the mountain. The woman lives, but we're safe from her. For now.
The victory is yours. We owe the Legion our lives.
I'm told that Jane spoke to you. She mentioned the old king, no doubt. And the Legion's role in his murder.
I need to know what really happened. All the facts, no matter how shameful.
We ought to begin more conversations this way.
Jane Cassinder spoke the truth, as far as she understands it. The commanders of the Legion did conspire to unseat the old king. The goal was never to murder the old king, only to replace him with his eldest son. But the king resisted, and the matter went awry.
You must understand. My grandfather was a monster. Even his own children despised him.
You say the king was a monster. What had he done?
I do not pretend to understand the man, but by all accounts, he was prone to paranoia, irrational rages. He grew jealous of the Legion. Before long, he started seizing our chapter houses and estates, threatening to disband the Legion altogether. So Mont Baron struck first.
If they didn't mean to harm the king, then why was he slain?
I wasn't there when it happened, but I'm told that the king drew a sword. The man wasn't much of a fighter, more a danger to himself than the Legionnaires. Who knows how he ended up with a blade in his gut? All the parties are long dead, and we shall never learn the truth.
We have a friend, an old Legion scout called Odo. Would he have known about the plot?
No. Mont Baron told the rank and file nothing, so that they wouldn't share in his guilt. Little good it did them. They all died, innocent or not.
You were one of the Legion commanders. Weren't you part of the plot?
When the plan was put forward by Mont Baron, I spoke against it. We had all made a vow to defend the crown, and it seemed to me that our word should be kept. But all the others disagreed. So I abandoned the Legion, left the hall, out the door, and never went back. The king was in the wrong, yes. But was treason our only recourse? I thought not.
You were the only one who abandoned the Legion over this?
A good friend followed me into exile. His name was Garin Marcel. We served the royal family as generals during the war with Jane. Garin died at the Battle of Drifter's Cross. Phineas is his son.
Phineas has Legion blood? I'd never have guessed. Seems a bit cerebral, doesn't he?
Jane told me something else. She said that she was the king's illegitimate daughter.
Ah, the old rumors. I can't say for sure, but I am inclined to believe them.
Jane Cassinda shares my blood? What else have you not told me, Lord Devonsey? The woman lost her father. Her family betrayed her. That doesn't excuse what she's done, but at least now I understand. I would ask one more favor of the Legion. Should you meet her again, will you spare Jane Cassinda's life?
Your Majesty, she's been hunting you and your family for years. Why would you ask me to spare her life?
This mountain once bustled with dwarves, and now they are gone. Dead so that I might keep my crown. My parents, my maids and courtiers, all of Lord Devonsy's men. Too many have died for my sake.
Your Majesty, think of the political ramifications.
If Jane Cassinda dies, do you think the cities of the East will bow their heads? No. They will curse us for murdering their living saint, and the war will drag on.
Whereas if we come to an agreement and Jane is kept alive, the war ends peacefully.
You assume that the woman will surrender at all. I wouldn't make such a wager.
If she's willing to surrender, I'll let Jane live.
Lord Devonsy will surely chastise me for my gentle nature, but I am sure this is the right course. Whatever happens, the Legion has my trust and support.
I shall send riders to all the towns and villages that support the Queen with news of our alliance. You have the word of the royal court. All Western Ebb will stand united behind the Legion.
My family should have reconciled with the Legion years ago. I'm glad we're allies again.
Cseréljük. És a maradékot az túladó.
You've turned this war around, you feel?
Nem baj, na. Szóval ezt szépen elmentettük. Turn to... Menjünk vissza Odo bácsihoz.
We've come a long way from that filthy swamp, haven't we? You've given us a victory that will be remembered for years to come. Escorting you to the causeway is the least that we can do. Are you ready to go?
Yes. Let's head to the causeway.
Ügyed vissza, mert az nagyon messze volt. Köszi. Na, hát legyetek jók, megmentettük. Belépünk ide. Chapter House. Szuper!
We've had rumors of another battle. Is
Hogy
it
ott
true?
ránk ugrottak
Jane
oldalról.
Cassinda's army retreating in disarray?
Disarray is too kind a word. I might say panic or terror instead.
And Rosalind, what did you think of her? Worthy to wear the crown or no?
She has a kind and temperate nature, but I saw some iron underneath. I think she'll make a good queen.
Kind and temperate is a far cry from her grandfather. Perhaps this exile has been a blessing for her family after all. What about our proposal? Does she favor the Legion?
Rosalind agreed to an alliance. She and Devonsey gave their word.
Well done. But that's not all, is it? The news can't all be good.
Hugh Montbarron tried to overthrow the old king. The murder was an accident, but Devonsey said...
No more. I don't want to hear. You think I hadn't guessed it was something like that? I still called it a lie. We can't tell this story, not ever.
The people already heard this from Jane. It's too late to hide the truth.
If we win this war, Jane will be dead. Her words become lies, and ours become truth.
You're wrong, Odo. The story needs to be told, or the lesson will never be learned.
And what then? The people won't blame Montbarron. They'll paint the whole Legion with the same bloody brush. Kingslayers forevermore. We'll be feared. No matter how virtuous we seem, we'll always be a threat.
Better that the people hear the truth from our lips. I won't lie to them.
Indeed. I don't think deception was ever part of the Legion Code.
I was half afraid that Martin might say something like this, but you too?
The Legion will be better for this, not worse. The Crown as well. If we all know the story and remember it, we won't repeat the same mistakes. We've made our choice. Let's speak of something else. What else did you learn in Glitterdelf?
Jane Cassinda is the daughter of the old king. She told me herself. You never knew?
I always thought that was just a rumor. This changes things.
If Jane Cassinda is the old king's daughter, then she has a claim to the throne. Probably thinks it's her right.
Better to strike now while she's off balance. Still reeling from her loss at Glitterdelf.
Jane must have a stronghold, and it's probably well guarded. We need an army of our own.
Stonebridge can field an army of automatons if need be. If we can seal an alliance with them, they might be willing to help us against Jane.
Jane could be anywhere. Do you know where she's gone?
Jane's capital is 5 days' march from here, maybe more. She calls it the Spire. Half cathedral, half fortress, on the summit of a mountain. That's where she'll be. The most impregnable stronghold in Ebb.
Would the Meisters really go to war with Jane?
Doubtful. No profit in it. And besides, these merchants and bankers are soft.
I agree. Our chances may be slim, but it's still worth a try.
A emberkéket meggyőzni az igazunkról. A bankárokat és a többi és a többi. Valószínűleg most fogunk átmenni arra a túloldalra, ahol egyszer már jártunk. Ilyeneket pattintottam le.
Please do not litter or excrete in alleyways.
Jó, ígérem.
Please spend your currency at local markets.
Ah, half a minute there. You came from the chapter house, did you not? Tell me, is it true? Has the Legion returned?
Introductions first. Who are you?
Sigismund Wolf at your service. Meister of Stonebridge and First Constable for this calendar year.
Pleased to meet you. And yes, the Legion has returned to Stonebridge.
Ha! Let them laugh at me now! Meister Wolf, with his silly dreams of radiant children and prophecies of the Legion's return.
You had a dream of a golden-haired child? A boy?
Precisely so. Not a fortnight past, I dreamt that I saw a golden-haired boy standing at my bedside. He bade me get up and follow him.
You saw the radiant youth? Are you descended from the Legion?
Wish I were, but no. My father was a merchant, and his father as well. If I'd had any Legion blood, I dare say I'd have been killed with the rest of them 30 years back.
Are any Legionnaires still living in Stonebridge?
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid not. Jane and her mobs were quite thorough. That whole affair was a mark of shame upon our city. Be assured that I took no part in that travesty, nor did my father, or anyone else who bears the name Wolf.
I'm here to address the Meisters. We want to propose an alliance against Jane Cassinder.
An alliance? That'll be tricky business. I can force them to give you a hearing, at least. I'll warn you, though, they're scared. Scared of Jane Cassinder and her armies. Scared that we'll lose our republic if she takes the city by force. And scared of other things, too.
The Meisters are scared of something else. Something inside the city?
No, forget I spoke of it. The other Meisters will know you've been talking to mad old Wolf with...
I'm ready to address the Meisters.
Capital! I shall go on ahead and announce you. We'll await you inside.
Menjünk be inside-ol.
Gentlemen and goblins, order! Council recognizes the envoy from the 10th Legion.
Meister Wolf tells us that you propose an alliance. A grave matter indeed. Perhaps our colleague forgot to emphasize how deeply we value our neutrality.
A war with Jane Cassinder would risk the very life of our republic. What do we gain by siding with the Legion?
For 30 years, we've known nothing but civil war. Help us bring order to Ebb. We were one people, one nation. We can be so again.
If Stonebridge takes the first step, the rest of the country will follow. People will remember that the rebirth of Ebb started here.
A chance to redeem our city's name. An honorable cause to take.
Nonetheless, you can understand why some in the city might fear the Legion's return.
Countless Legionnaires were murdered in our streets. people might think that you've come to seek revenge.
Just how many of you turned against the Legion? Surely Meister Wolf took no part.
We cannot all be Sigismund Wolf. Everyone remembers how he ran about the square, trying to put himself between Jane Cassinda and the Legionnaires.
Got himself trampled by her horse for his trouble. Very honorable conduct. A credit to his fine old name.
Hear, hear! But understand, those were different times. The Legion were said to be kingslayers. Many did things that they now regret.
Forget the past. Those murders are 30 years gone. We came here to reconcile, not for revenge.
Words alone are unlikely to sway our good citizens. Perhaps if we form a committee, study the problem for several months or a year.
Nonsense! The Legion is no threat. There's far more dangerous things in this city, if you would only open your eyes.
Ah, our colleague again speaks of the dapper old gent, no doubt.
Indeed, sir, I do. You think that the trouble in the foundry is not the work of the gent?
Wolf, you didn't say anything about the foundry before.
Bad business. The foundry supplies power to all of Stonebridge, but now it's gone silent, and no one knows why.
Meister Wolf, let us not turn aside from the matter at hand. We owe the Legion our vote.
No, wait. That hardly seems fair. Force a vote now, and it will assuredly go against the Legion. I propose a recess. Let us each speak privately to the Legionnaires, so that we can reach an informed and impartial judgment.
How many votes do I need to win your support?
A simple majority will suffice. 3 of 5 votes cast in the Legion's favor. Council declares a recess. We shall reconvene after the Legion envoy has spoken to each of my esteemed colleagues, and all are prepared to render a judgment.
Ah, so the Legion has come looking for my vote. These are perilous times. An entangling alliance is hardly prudent. But I forget my manners. I am Rorik Castle, City Master and Factol of the Ironmongers.
Úgyhogy most végighallgatjuk, kinek miben segíthetünk.
In the council meeting, Wolf said something about the foundry. Is that your responsibility?
Ah, yes. That is our responsibility. The foundry is the wellspring of our city's prosperity. We keep the economy in motion, and we are the drumbeat of progress.
Your guild is obviously important. We need friends like you, and we're willing to prove our goodwill.
If you wish to be of service, there is a certain problem that requires attention. The foundry is presently overrun. It's the blasted Cyclopses. They were docile workers for years, but something in them snapped, and they've brought the foundry to a standstill.
Why would they do this? Do you have any idea?
None at all. But I'm not involved in the day-to-day supervision of their work. Speak to my foreman, Mr. Snell, at the foundry. He will explain our predicament in greater detail.
Yes. I was wondering when you'd come and harass me. No doubt you're here to solicit my vote for your organization.
You could at least offer me a proper introduction.
Oh, yes. Trivialities. I'm Lord Barrister Mudgutter, Director of the Office of Contracts and Patents, Chief Magistrate of Stonebridge. And I have some other random titles with capital letters. I think I'm technically the High Marshal of top fermenting beverages.
Then I trust you're the goblin to talk to if I want the Meister's support.
One of them, yes. I think you'll find that Wolf is very much smitten with the romantic notion of the Legion. The rest of us need convincing.
How can the Legion earn your vote?
Well, you could help me alphabetize court documents, but a better use of your talents would be to help me with an investigation. Normally, I'd have Wolf handle the situation, but it happens to involve a sizable degree of danger, and Wolf is too important to risk.
So you're saying you'd rather risk a stranger's life? That's honest.
I'm rarely accused of being a nice person, but there you have it. I'd rather not waste city resources and will trade my vote for your work. So, the matter at hand. We've had numerous reports of masked individuals hauling automatons into the crypts under the city. Whatever their aim, they are slowly eroding our defenses, and that is intolerable, especially with Jane Cassinda and her army on the loose. If someone was to enter the...
Have many of your automatons gone missing?
Only a few have gone missing. More troubling is that a few have returned looking like they were opened and studied.
You said that these crypts are underneath the city?
Indeed. Old records refer to them as the Crypts of the Sacred Blood, a vast network of tunnels extending from the farmlands in the south. With every passing generation, further tunnels are dug. No one has charted them all. The crypt in question is cut off from the rest, thanks to a tunnel collapse some years back, so you needn't fear getting lost.
Consider it done. We'll be back when we've dealt with these criminals.
Well then, if you keep your word, I shall do the same and cast my vote in support of the Legion. Good day.
Greetings, Legionnaire. If you've come to win my vote, don't bother. My mind is made up. Stonebridge will have no entangling alliances. So that's that. Now, if you need some little task to occupy your time, or if you have a question, perhaps I can be of service.
Why are you so eager to dismiss the Legion?
I trust the Legion. What I don't trust is this city. It has a dark history with the Legion. Some doors should remain closed. Personally, I wish you great success in restoring the Legion, but I don't feel my vote for you is in the best interest of Stonebridge.
Are you sure there's nothing we can do to win your vote?
At the moment, no. But worry not, I'm sure the other Meisters will vote for you if you sate their self-interested needs. Now, I do have a task or two for you. It's not going to win over my vote, but I would find a way to repay your efforts. Long ago, the Legion served as the mediator of first and last resort. When an argument ran out of control, the Legion offered counsel.
Is the court system of Stonebridge inadequate?
For now, you will arbitrate civil matters that are beyond the purview of the courts. Mudgutter and his barristers will handle the criminals. Your first task is to handle a situation with a prisoner of ours, a Krug. He has no crimes charged against him, but his fate is disputed. Many argue he's safer in prison. Others want him free. He's here in the Meister Hall's jail. Make your inquiries there, then tell the automaton who presides over the jail what you've decided. It's hardly dragon slaying, but if you're true to the Legion, you'll have time for small matters. Go on now, I've got work to do.
Ah, the envoy from the Legion. Is there something else you need?
What can we do to win your vote? An alliance will benefit us both.
There's that word again. Alliance. You won't think ill of me, I hope, if I express a certain degree of concern. But I shall respect the wishes of the other Meisters. If you can convince my colleagues to take your side, I shall vote in your favor as well.
You were elected to lead the city?
By a popular vote of almost 70%. Not counting the automatons, of course. Our mayor is elected from among the Meisters, the leading citizens of the town. It's a far better system than we used to have. We put an end to all...
I won't take any more of your time. Good day.
Indeed, and a good day to you as well.
Welcome to the Stonebridge Jail. Do you have business with the incarcerated?
I'd like to speak to the Krug prisoner. Fiddlewick asked me to appraise the situation and determine the Krug's fate.
Very well. It is Meister Fiddlewick's prerogative to entrust such decisions to strangers rather than automated constables with decades of experience. Please note that the Krug has been imprisoned for its own safety. It is highly unpopular with citizens, especially those who own pitchforks.
Krr.
How did you wind up behind these bars?
Krr. Krr.
Are you being treated well?
Krr.
Sorry about that. Seems the rattle in my lungs gets worse every year. You were asking about my treatment here? Just fine, thank you. The automated constable here
Krr.
tends to my comestibles and keeps away the rabble.
You're pretty well spoken for a Krug.
A Krug?
Krr.
Yeah, I guess that's what people think I am. I'm human. Just some ill twist of fate made me hideous and homely.
People seem to think you're a Krug. Why haven't you said something and corrected the situation?
I'm tired of being harassed and assaulted. This time I decided I'd let them think I'm a monster and keep me locked up.
Krr.
I've thought about getting out of here, but I have nowhere to go. I'm content to just stay here and daydream.
I have to decide whether you stay or go free.
Krr.
Well, I suppose I've committed no crime, unless being hideous is illegal. But if it's all the same to you, I'm safe here. Let them go on thinking I'm a Krug. It won't hurt my feelings. If you let me go, have someone escort me out of the city at least.
Welcome to the Stonebridge Jail. Do you have business with the incarcerated?
Isn't running a jail a bit complicated for an automaton?
I apologize, but I was not designed to answer questions of a remedial nature. I repeat, do you have business with the
I've come to a decision on the Krug.
I will enact whatever outcome you deem appropriate. Please enunciate carefully.
Let the Krug go. He's done nothing illegal. The locals may try to hurt him, so he should be given an escort out of the city.
Very well. The Krug will be escorted to the city limits and set free. No automated constable could have formulated that solution. Thank you.
Krr.
I wasn't certain that the Legion had truly returned, but after witnessing your resolution of the plight of the oppressed Krug proletariat, It caused a great imbalance in my sanguine humors. Fairly had me bursting with them. Now then, we have much to accomplish. Shall we get started?
What do you mean by we have much to do? Who exactly are you?
Yes, we. First person plural, in this case collective. I could lend you this excellent book on grammar, but wait, I'm forgetting my manners. I am Reinhard Manx, scholar, inventor, and sartorial adventurer. I have degrees in advanced thaumaturgical studies and non-Goblinian geometry. Naturally, I also have a grounding in the classics, but more importantly to you, I am descended from the Grand Mage Merrick, a legionnaire through and through.
That would make him Merrick's last descendant then. In the old stories, Merrick was always more interested in making magic than, well, children.
Well, needless to say, it's been my dream to reunite with other children of the 10th Legion. Second only to the dream of a thaumaturgical waistcoat that can change its color and cut to match the latest season's fashions.
How have you lived in Stonebridge all this time? I thought this town had a bad history with the Legion.
Had I trumpeted my lineage, we would have seen democracy in action. The ballot would have been whether I would be lynched or dissected, but still, I used to dream that the Legion would rise up from the ashes. But I also dream of square circles, so make of that what you will. The people of Stonebridge may have committed a terrible crime against the Legion, but I think it's time to forgive and rebuild.
Forgiveness is an old virtue of the Legion. I'd say your heart is in the right place.
In all my studies of time, I found that you can coil it, twist it, bend it, but it always unwinds the same way. Hatred can't undo the past, so why hold a grudge? Why bother defending Ebb if you can't accept that its people will make mistakes? And of course, forgiveness facilitates the open exchange of ideas. It's hard to have a symposium with a lynch mob.
You said you were a scholar, but have you seen any combat?
I'm hardly the mage that my great-grandfather was, but I was best in my class when it came to channeling and energy manipulation. I may possess a physique best described as suety, but by application of higher non-Goblinian mathematics, I could rip a man in half with a thought. Well, theoretically I could. It's not as though I practice on people. That would be rather rude, and mildly illegal, but mostly rude.
If you have Legion blood, why didn't you join us at the gathering?
Oh, you mean the invitation calculated to lure all the Legion descendants into one place? You must be joking. That was obviously a trap. One would have to be suicidal, or at least a great buffoon, to walk into that sort of setup. Oh my, do forgive me. I should have realized. I meant no offense, but in any case...
We need everyone in the Legion to join forces. Are you with us?
Am I with you? Does the thaumaturgical constant Q trend towards infinity for given values of the human soul? The answer is yes, by the way. The Legion needs to stand together, lest we fade into memory. So without further ado, let's be off.
I should thank you for resolving the matter of the Krug. Such a small issue, but it required an outside voice.
Can you tell me a little about Stonebridge?
Of course! I always have time to talk about our fair city. What do you need to know?
This city has gears on the buildings and automated golems walking the streets as constables. What sort of technology is this?
Well, progress makes unlikely bedfellows. The collegium where I teach is devoted to the study of matter and motion. The many guilds of the city adapted our research to make tools that benefit their trade. One worker now has the output of 3. I worry what this will mean. Not enough jobs, too much power for machine owners. But I digress. These issues don't concern the Legion.
Can you tell me a little about yourself?
I I am Professor Fiddlewick, Master of the College. That gives me a permanent seat on the council, so they can't get rid of me, no matter how hard they try. I've been with the college for years. Got here just before the fall of the Legion.
You were here in the city when the Legionnaires were killed?
I was only a junior scholar at the time, and I watched the madness of the city from my ivory tower in the Collegium. The city was deluded into thinking the Legion was the enemy, and in one day of collective madness, a crowd descended on the chapter house. I think everyone here feels shame for what happened, either because they have blood on their hands, or, as in my case, because they didn't intervene.
You and the humans seem to coexist quite peacefully. Are there many goblins in Stonebridge?
Ah, yes. This city is quite the achievement of cosmopolitan sensibilities. For more than a century, the goblin presence has grown. The laws of Stonebridge value all sentient life, which is a good thing. Human cuisine plus goblinoid cooking technology equals paradise.
That is all I need to know. I should be going.
Take care now. Welcome back, Legionnaire. What can I...
Do you have another problem for me to mediate?
Yes, I do. Baron is a wealthy landowner with a claim to many parcels of land here in town. He wants to charge rent to Hans. Hans has an equally compelling claim to the plot of land. Mudgutter informs me it's a case of eminent domain versus original acquisition. With the court deadlocked, both have agreed to let you settle their dispute. I'll have them meet you at the chapter house.
Na lássuk. Egy mentési pontot, mert rengeteget beszéltünk. És a szemeink viszont meg leragadnak, úgyhogy mára befejezni a játékot. Mindenkit. Legközelebb fogunk még találkozni, azt hiszem. Na, legyetek jók! Sziasztok!